Morehouse College.
Yeah.
As the president of the NBA Player Association, how important was it to incorporate the HBCU into this game?
Man, I mean that's a long story as far as how we got to having an All-Star game or whatnot. But you know, when we went to the bubble, it was something that a lot of players talked about as far as supporting HBCUs. You know, how could we champion them? Obviously, I had done some work myself personally, but we talked about it as a collective, right, in the bubble. And then the league brought the idea to us to support HBCUs if we were going to have the game here in Atlanta, and we said that we would support it.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
All right, next up we have Simone Sandry, followed by Eric Walden.
Yes, yesterday Adam spoke about the vaccination program, and obviously your voice carry a lot of weight on the Player Association and in the NBA in general. Do you plan to vaccinate as soon as it is available for you guys? And would you advise a member of the Player Association to vaccinate as soon as the vaccine is available?
Yeah, I think all of these different type situations are personal decisions, right? You know, we're a players association, we're a union, but there are things that are personal to every player. So, you know, we'll keep talking about it as a union, as players or whatnot, but I don't see any mandate coming in forcing someone to do something. So.
All right, next up we have Eric Walden, followed by Dwayne Rankin.
Gil, what up?
Hey, Chris, this is Eric Walden from the Salt Lake Tribune. Obviously, Mike Conley became kind of a last-minute addition to the game. He became the guy who became a first-time All-Star as the deepest into his career in his 14th season. Just wondering if you could share, you know, how you've gotten to know Mike over the years and what it means for a guy like that to finally, you know, get into this game after all these years of coming so close.
Man, I'm so happy for Mike. Mike wins like the nice guy award every year in the league. He just hoops. And hell, Mike might be a better golfer than he is a basketball player. But, you know, not to date myself, but I actually hosted Mike on a visit when I was in college. I was about to leave Wake to go to the NBA. Mike was in high school, and I hosted him and Greg Oden, right? So I've known Mike for a long time now, him, his dad, his family, and, you know, he just stays the course, you know what I mean? And I'm happy for him, and this is something that's well-deserved. But certain guys in this league and over the course of their career, they don't need, you know, things like this for validation or for us players to know how good of a player that he is.
All right, next up we have Dwayne Rankin, followed by Nicole Drina.
Thanks, Chris. Good to see you there. That you got there good and safe. Just wanted to ask just a couple of things. One, just about Devin, obviously not there because of the knee. Just how is he feeling? I'm sure you two guys have talked. And then two, how much of this is just as you know he's not there? This is part of just showing how far Phoenix has come by having two All-Stars this year.
Yeah, man. I actually just got done talking to Book before I got on here. It's actually tough being here without him. I was telling my brother on the flight yesterday, first time, or the last time, me and a teammate, I think it was me and Blake. I don't know if it was 16, one of those years or whatnot. So I was actually looking forward to come here with Book. But his health is most important. You know, it's an unfortunate situation, but the timing, you know, going right into this little break, I know him and how much he hates to miss any game. So I know he's, you know, rehabbing and trying to get ready.
Like I said, just a quick follow, just with you and him both being All-Stars, what does that say just about the Suns and this resurgence and having two guys and the record you guys have? I mean, all this is sort of I know there's the second half of the season, but just speaking on that part of the first half and you two being All-Star, what that means to this organization.
I think it's great for the organization. It's great. I mean, we expected, you know, we don't never really talk about our expectations, but we sort of expected our team to be here. And we got a long way to go. I've been playing against Phoenix for the last 15 years. You know, so I remember the Steve Nashes, the Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire, all them teams. So, you know, it's crazy for me to think that they hadn't been in the playoffs in that long, because I remember when they was super duper nice. So it don't seem like it's been that long, but nice to, I guess, be here.
All right, next up, we have Nicole Drina, followed by Dan Wojcicki.
Hi, Chris. How you feel to play aside LeBron James and a very talented backcourt with players like Stephen Curry, Doncic, and Damian Lillard tonight?
Fortunately, some of them guys you didn't mention I've known for a long time. So we didn't play pickup, USA, all this different type stuff. But it's something that never gets old. And that's why a few years ago, when we decided to switch the All-Star game over like this, I think this is what makes it that much more interesting. You know, it's funny, all those years, you know, I was in the West, Bronze in the East, we play against each other in the All-Star game. And it's crazy to think last year was our first time on the same team, and this year too. So it's cool to mix it up to where, you know, you can play with different guys in different conferences.
All right, next up, we have Dan Wojcicki, followed by Christos Saltis.
Chris, what's up, man?
What's happening, Dan?
I guess my question for you is, over the course of your career in this league, the value placed on practice has changed, and what constitutes a practice has changed. Could you just kind of describe that? And then also, do you think that's hurt players at all, the way practice is kind of gone to the wayside?
That's a deep question, Dan. I'm not a coach. I got my own personal opinions about all that different type of stuff. But it has changed. It honestly has changed. And you know, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. So some of it is rest, you know, sleep, recovery, and all this stuff. So depending on what type of team you have, you know, there is huge value in practice, right? Because that's how you learn. That's how you're taught. As where you sort of get some of that grit and that grind, but you do have to balance it. You know, you have to balance it with the amount of games and the time and stuff. So I don't know.
All right, next up, we have Christos Saltis, followed by Alex Gaze.
Hello, Chris. I hope you are doing well. I would like to ask you, it's your 11th appearance in the All-Star game. How special is this appearance for you, and what are the reasons that made special this appearance this season?
It's always special because it's something that you can't ever take for granted, especially when you've been in the All-Star game in different ways, right? There was a point like back around 08, 9, 2009, 2010, where I just sort of knew that I was going to be in the All-Star game because I was going to be voted in by fans. You know, like there's certain guys in our league who just know they're going to be there because the fans are going to pick them, you know, but when you have to get voted in by the coaches, it's always a different feeling, right? So you definitely appreciative for that. And like for me, like my kids are getting a little older. Like my son's 11 now, so he pays attention. He's here with me, and I don't know. You just never know how many more of these are going to occur. So grateful.
All right, next up, we have Alex Glaze, followed by Greg Moore.
Hey, Chris. Obviously, yes, you know, you've played in All-Star games before. Just curious, what is the feeling this year? Obviously, it's different. But what's missing from this year's All-Star experience that you've had in years past?
What's missing?
Yeah, like from just the weekend, you know, that just it's this year is very different. Just being here in Atlanta, kind of just for today, just kind of what's missing from the weekend for you personally?
I mean, it's a whole pandemic outside. You know, one of the biggest things missing is a whole lot of my family. You know, they usually come, you know, but we made this a fellas trip. Got my brother, my nephew, my son, and my dad drove up from North Carolina. right? So it's different in a lot of ways. But I'm interested to see what it's like when you get to the game. You know, usually there's a practice, there's events, the Jordan part, all these different type things. So I'm interested to see what it's like when you get to the game because, you know, for us, everything can be different, this and that. But once you throw the ball up, that's what's all the same.
And just on a different note, yesterday, Adam Silver said pretty much yesterday that when it comes to vaccines, players are going to make their own decisions. Just your personal thoughts on that and just if that's the right way to moving forward, kind of getting things back to normal with the league.
Yeah, somebody asked me a question, maybe it's been the first question. And I was saying there are certain things that are personal, right? So I don't see any mandate coming down telling a player, you know, you must do this, you have to do that. So.
All right, next up we have Greg Moore, followed by Jaisha Smalls.
Who is it?
Oh, got you, Greg.
You guys got me yet?
There we go.
Yeah,
there we go. All right, man. Great. Hey, listen, good to see you. Congratulations, of course.
Appreciate it.
No doubt, dude. When you mentioned your son being there, so first of all, it got me to thinking about your State Farm commercials. It got me thinking about my sons. But now I'm thinking about myself as an 11-year-old. I'm thinking about my earliest All-Star memories. Now I'm curious about yours. Did you watch the All-Star game growing up? Were you a huge NBA fan? What are your earliest All-Star memories?
I was a huge NBA fan. Man, that's a really good question. Y'all probably don't remember. It was this. It was a VHS that was called Michael Jordan's Playground.
Yeah.
Right. So Michael Jordan's Playground was this thing about MJ, and it starts off where MJ, like this ball rolls out and he stops it with his foot. And, you know, he was dancing with Kid and Play and them at the end of it. And me and my brother used to watch it every day when we got home from school. And it talks about the dunk contest, shows you the dunk contest, because we didn't have YouTube and all that, obviously.
Right.
But, yeah, I remember all that. I remember when Magic played in the All-Star game. I remember when he hit that 3 on the wing. I remember all these different types of things. So, yeah, my son definitely has a totally different childhood than I had. just a little different.
All right, let me give you one more, man. You know, when you stop and reflect on, you know, that legacy, the moments that you're remembering and all, what does it mean to you to be such an indelible part of that?
I don't know. I think I'd be a little too busy right now to let it soak in and take it all in, to tell you the truth. You're just always on the move. And, you know, for me, even yesterday, I had calls and meetings, all this before we went to the airport, and we were headed to the airport. And I asked my brother, I said, we got to stop by Target. And we stopped by Target so I could get a Polaroid camera. I just wanted a camera because that's the only way you can remember some of these things, right? Because a lot of times memories is all we have. And my man, Jim Ice, who not with us every step of the way as we walk through, you know, usually when we come to All-Star, you can have somebody with you taking pictures or getting videos, capturing those memories. But this year we got to do it ourselves, right? So it's just perspective.
All right, next up we have Jaisha Smalls, followed by Mac Liederman.
All right, what's going on, Chris? I'm a student journalist from Bennett College. So my question will be more based about your new journey into WSSU. So do you think you'll be, you know, on campus, depending on how COVID-19 takes place? Do you think you'll be an on-campus student and taking in-person classes?
Man, that's a great question. I would like to. The last time I was on campus was 2009 when I was taking classes at Wake. Right before my son was born. I don't know. I'm working right now, so I know I can't go to class right now, but if possible, I would love to actually go on campus for a few classes. I will walk across that stage at some point, though. I promise you that.
Absolutely. So what would your degree be in?
Communications.
Okay, cool.
Communications.
Thank you.
No problem. Is somebody talking? Oh.
Yeah, Mac Liederman, you're up next.
Hey, Chris, hope all is well. My name is Mac, and I'm a student journalist with Northwestern in Chicago. I've recently been working on a story about a women's bowling team at Lincoln University, which, as you may know, is a small HBCU in Missouri. And this group of young women, they have like a really amazing and resilient story, but unfortunately, their team was discontinued this past year due to the financial stress of COVID-19. So I know bowling is one of your passions, and you've also been outspoken about the need to support and raise awareness at HBCUs. So my question is, why do you think it is important to support sports of all kinds, even small sports at HBCUs? And how do you think bowling in particular can help create opportunities for young people?
Man, that's a great question, and it's dope that you're doing that. And shout out to Mike Wilbon, who went to Northwestern too, and Lincoln. And as far as bowling goes, it's crazy. There's so many different sports out there, right? Whatever it may be, basketball, soccer, hockey. And then when people hear about bowling, a lot of times they'd be like, what? That's a sport? I'd be like, it absolutely is. And for me, I grew up in bowling alleys with my dad. My dad was in all types of bowling leagues. And so that's why I love bowling. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's something I think that happens at HBCUs more often than not, is that sports get cut, or people don't know stories where I remember it was a school that the basketball team had to be the cross country team, right? Just because they had to make sure that they had enough sports or whatnot to get the funding. So, man, that is unbelievably horrible to hear. So the bowling program is wiped out at Lincoln. Sorry, Matt.
Oh, sorry, I was just waiting for them to unmute. Yeah, I mean, this team has like a really awesome story. They were like a predominantly Black team playing in white tournaments, and there was kind of like a series of unfortunate events where a tornado like knocked out their bowling alley, and then like an absentee coach like failed to give kids new scholarships. So then pandemic 19 happened. So it's really unfortunate that the team can't play currently, but I guess the hope is once everything is kind of stabilized and the finances are in place that, they can bring bowling back.
Man, Cole, can you find out that story for me? Can you get a chance?
For sure.
All right. Appreciate that, man.
All right. Next, we got time. Got to wrap up here. We'll do two more. We'll do Augustin Aboy, followed by Alvaro Martin. Let's see. Augustin, are you able to unmute yourself?
Hi, you hear me, Chris?
Yep. Now we got you.
Yeah. No. Well, hi, Chris. You got the chance last year to be a part of the Elam ending on Chicago game, the first experiment for the NBA with this kind of finale for the game. It was fantastic from outside. I wanted to know your feelings being a player involved in this type of situation without a clock and playing with the score, and what are you waiting for tonight's game?
Oh man, John Muger and the guys at TBT, right? Great partners, friends of mine, and just having an opportunity to coach in the TBT, being a fan of the TBT. I remember I reached out to Adam and was like, hey man, this TBT ending is kind of cool. It may be something cool to introduce into the All-Star game. And so obviously everyone was a little skeptical last year watching the game, not sure, how it was going to go. I wasn't sure, it was just something to try to make the game a little bit more exciting. So last year was a lot of fun to see the competition and to end the game with the made shot, right? So you don't just dribble the clock out. Somebody has to make a free throw. Somebody has to make a shot or something like that to win the game. And so you know, it worked last year. We'll see what happens this year, but always dope to introduce new things to the game.
All right. And our final question will be Alvaro Martin.
Good morning, Chris. Congratulations on the All-Star. When everything's said and done, you'll be known for being a winner and impacting your new teams in terms of their winning percentage. That is a process, of course. And we saw you, as soon as you signed up, go to Phoenix and begin to practice and work. That is a learning curve. So by now, I'm sure the team has learned a lot from you. You've learned a lot about the team. How much is there to do in the second half of the season in terms of being prepared, not necessarily to win a championship, that may be out of your hands, but to compete and to be a smart team and be a prepared, aware team?
Yes, it's a lot left to do, to tell you the truth. And it's a credit to our coaching staff, the organization, the guys on our team. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun to be around our guys. Shout out to my guy, DeAndre Ayton. Congrats to him. Our whole team got on a FaceTime call last night. But it's just a great group to be around. And I think the thing is that we understand that we have to communicate with each other. And the biggest thing that we know is, yeah, the first half has been really good. And, you know, myself, Jay Crowder, and a few other guys, after our last game against Golden State, we spoke about how important the second half is. Because when you got a young team and not necessarily been there, the second half is a lot harder. You know, games get a lot more intense when guys start jockeying for playoff position. So we're just going to stay the course, keep our head down, and keep doing the work.